Hi.
Hi.
I'm live.
And I'm in living color.
And we're two kids on
Two kids on a couch. It's easier without the delay. That messes it up a little bit.
A little bit. That's
well, hello.
Welcome to our first live stream, everybody.
Welcome to our first live stream. We're really excited. Are you, Emily? You talk more because I'm only seeing my face. Say some things.
So many things. Stacks on stacks of things.
Ah, there we go. Okay. I think I accidentally had it locked so that it would only show my face. And now
that's unfair.
Both faces. It was not an intentional thing. Okay, we're
there are
back
two of us on this couch, my friend.
No, I'm aware. All right, so welcome, friends, to our first ever live stream. We are so thrilled that you've joined us. It was very nice of you. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the Tony Awards. Were on Sunday.
They were
just a couple of days ago.
That opening number.
And we have thoughts about them. Yeah, we can start with the opening number. Oh, so first off, if you guys want to contribute to any of this, there's a live chat thing. To me, it shows up on the side. It might show up below or something. So if you guys ever have thoughts, feel free to share them, and we will read them because we like reading that stuff. Okay, but no, opening number. First impressions.
I'm a fan.
I thought it was okay. Yeah.
I was really scared that Bandstand was going to be the opening number because I saw that like they were performing, and I'm like, oh, they're not nominated, so they're going to be the opening. And I'm like, that's going to be a cheap shot, but then it wasn't.
Yeah. No, I thought the opening number was pretty good. I don't know that Kevin Spacey's a great musical theater performer.
I don't think Kevin Spacey thinks he's a great musical theater performer, though, and that makes it.
And they did a pretty good job of like semi-acknowledging that fact.
Yeah.
Like they didn't make him try to sing too much. That was
yeah.
But no, I liked the inside jokes. The cast on the leg might have been the hardest I laughed all night.
So good.
I thought that was just really
that was so good.
If any of you guys don't know what that was, Andy Carl, who was doing Groundhog Day, during like one of the last previews, like tweaked his leg really bad. I don't know exactly what he did. To the point where he couldn't finish the show. That like at intermission they sent in the understudy. And it was almost a big deal because in the bylaws of the Tony Awards, whoever performs on opening night is the one who's eligible for Best Actor. And it was going to look like Andy Carl couldn't perform on opening night, and his understudy was going to be the one to like maybe get the nomination.
Which would have been so cool, though.
It would have been kind of cool. It would have been sad for Andy Carl.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
So that was the joke of putting the cast on Kevin Spacey's leg, is that Bill Connors broke his leg, and it's fun.
Yeah, no, I was behind that.
Yeah, that was a good joke. I went back and watched it again today just for the fun of it, and have to catch the quick changes now that I know like what to look for. And when you know what to look for, they're pretty obvious actually.
I mean,
like you can see them, but I thought that was also a cool gag.
Yeah, and the point isn't flawless production, because my guess is they learned that song like 48 hours beforehand.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that that's a similar gag they use in the show. I'm assuming at the very least the door in the bed is a thing that they do.
Probably.
And probably having some body doubles and stuff. But no, I thought it was cool the way they talked about all the shows, the four nominees at least. I thought that was kind of a cool tribute thing. Like compared to other opening numbers, I think we can all agree the best opening number ever was Bigger.
Yep.
And I think James Corden's last year might be my second favorite. I thought that was really good too, because they both kind of did the same thing. They both kind of made it more about the magic of theater and how inspiring it is than about something. They kept it broad, I guess,
right?
As opposed to making it about something specific.
Right. Which
and while
was pretty specific.
It was. Yeah, like there's a lot of inside jokes. There's a lot of stuff that like if you didn't know the shows, you wouldn't necessarily get.
Right. Right.
But I also like. I'm glad that they don't try to do the same thing every year. You know, like.
And that's what that's what we were hoping for with Kevin Spacey, is because like the past like 5 or 6 hosts have all tried to do kind of the same thing, and we're like, Kevin Spacey probably won't, and he didn't, and I think that's what made him a really good host, actually. Like,
I agree. I agree. Yeah, he didn't try to be Neil Patrick Harris, which it feels like the rest of the people kind of have. And he did a good job. And so like I got a kick out of the impressions thing. Like I remember I made a joke or something like Kevin Spacey's the best when he's not Kevin Spacey. And I thought that was like, well, like that's a cool thing, is that like they have this host and they go to him and say, what can you do? And he's like, I can do impressions. And they're like, okay, we'll do that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way to go about it.
I didn't necessarily get all of them at first.
I did like the line about Hillary's better at like hiding emails than
evidence. So I didn't realize that he was Bill Clinton until that line, actually.
Also same.
But it was pretty funny once I got it.
Like, oh, that's a pretty good joke.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that one a lot. And he had the best line of the night with the "I'm gonna get out of here before Bette Midler thanks somebody else." that was literally the funniest thing anybody said the entire night.
So funny.
It was like, you know that it was improvised. You know that
right, because it was like what, 3 minutes after it happened.
Yeah, like it was right there. Yeah.
So fast. Oh, that was such a.
It was a good line. It was a good line.
So good. So like, okay, Bette Midler. Let's talk about that for a bit.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Not happy. Really.
Okay, so
anything surrounding that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you. So I'm not surprised that she won. I actually like marking on my ballot. I thought she was going to win, and she did. So like that didn't upset like someone else win. We talked about it. I don't know if I got edited out. So like we talked about we want Eva Noblezada to win. And with Danae Benton as probably the next best. Those are the ones we're pulling for because nobody cares about war paint and because we don't like Bette Midler.
Right. 2 solid reasons.
I agree, but like I'm not upset that she won so much. Like I'm not, like I said, I saw it coming, but I agree that I'm not happy with the way she handled this whole awards season.
Yep.
So like I don't know if people know this. She refused to perform on the Tony Awards, which is why we had that
so uncomfortable,
really uncomfortable David Hyde Pierce solo.
And like I love David Hyde Pierce. He's so good. But that might be the worst performance of the night, just because it was so uncomfy. Hey, in living color. Are you back?
Yes, okay. I'm back. Okay. I'm sorry. Are we good? Okay. I was afraid that since I'm the one who started the video, it was going to like shut the whole thing down. Like it looks like it didn't. It's good. Anyway, David Hyde Pierce being adorable.
That's a word. But it's not one that I would use just in this present moment.
But no, being uncomfortable, I suppose.
Yeah. Not into it.
No. But anyway, yeah. So she refused to perform for the Tony Awards, and she refused to be a part of any of the interviews, any of the get-togethers, or like meet the press things that they did for the Tony Awards. Which, like, I guess like that's a thing. I think the reason was she wants to like save her Sorry, dropped out again.
You're back. Okay, you're good. You're good.
We keep going. Okay. But yeah, to be fair, it is hard to do a show 8 times a week and all the Tony hype. But everybody else can do it.
I mean, like, if Patti LuPone can do it.
That's right. That's right.
Bette Midler isn't better than Patti LuPone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that was so coming into the awards, her like shunning of the awards was already kind of off-putting, and then to go from that to taking too long for her speech, and it felt very entitled. It felt very diva-ish.
It did.
To me.
And like, I've said this about Hello Dolly before, and I'll say it again. Everyone in that show is too old to be in that show, and she is not the exception to that rule.
You're not wrong.
So like, and her name comes before the title. So like, obviously this show was put on Broadway to showcase her. And I don't know why.
So like
there's either a better show for her or there's a better person to play Dolly Levi for this show. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I still haven't been able to find a lot of footage from the show. I went back and looked. I'm trying to find more videos. I haven't seen anything about it. But yeah, I can't imagine that she did that well, you know?
And this is her first Tony, right?
I have no clue. I know she's famous. I have no clue what she's famous for. I think it's mostly movies.
Probably. Gosh. Hollywood actors on Broadway.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't actually know what she's famous for. So I don't know. She might have a long Broadway rap sheet. I'm not sure. I guess right here. Wikipedia. She's done a little bit of Broadway before. Stage shows. She was in Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway. That might have been the only one, actually.
That's it?
So she was in Fiddler on the Roof, and there's a couple of things. She did an off-Broadway show called Salvation. She has done a couple of things as herself, like one-man shows, I guess. And then Hello Dolly and Fiddler on the Roof are the only like scripted Broadway shows that she's done.
So this probably is her first Tony.
But no, it's not. In 1974, she won a special Tony Award for adding luster to the Broadway season.
I'm mad.
And she didn't have a show in 1974. I'm confused.
I'm so mad.
Unless this Wikipedia article is just playing tricks on me.
Wikipedia would not lie to us.
Adding luster to a Broadway season. The only other person who seems to have gotten that award ever was Liza Minnelli, who, while I'm also not a big fan of, deserved it more.
More than Bette Midler. My gosh!
I'm really confused as to what's happening here.
Literally, if I had to pick a word to describe her, it would be lackluster.
It lacks luster.
It lacks luster. Oh my gosh, that's awful. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I on behalf of the Tony Award Broadway community, I feel disrespected by Bette Midler. When the theater was giving her an honor, I felt like she was not gracious about it. So that's my. So like, I haven't seen her performance. I don't know how good she is, but I judge her for that.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's Bette Midler. Yeah, so she had the worst speech of the night, probably by far. Because like I don't know, like it went on too long, and she was disrespectful about them trying to get her to leave. And I remember I texted a friend of mine something to the extent of, in the time it took her to give that speech, they could have presented a design award. They could have televised a design award, you know?
Yep.
Or they could have given another show a chance to perform or something. And it's like,
yeah, none of the design awards were televised. None of them.
No. Oh, I checked though. You can find them online. CBS.com's YouTube channel posts them, and I watched a couple, and they're nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they won a Tony.
But yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, and actually, I made a list. We can go through this later, but I made a list of speeches that I want to talk about, and there's a couple of really good ones in the design categories.
I really like having the original playwrights come out and like talk about their shows. That was so cool.
That was really cool. So like, it's always kind of a question of how are they going to do the play thing, you know?
Yeah. The one year they did like on stage scenes, and that was so cool.
I really like that. Yeah. I kind of agree. Like, yeah, that was the year we got to see things from One Man, Two Governors and Starcatcher and Into the Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really fun. I really like that, and I don't know why they don't do that as much. I guess that one was. See, I think that's easier for comedies. I think it's harder for like dramas to give a solid 2-minute performance. If that makes sense.
I mean, like, yeah, but also, and this might not be what we want to talk about like right now, but I feel like if Miss Saigon can pull out a number that's that out of context, then they can have plays. You know,
they gave context. They said this is what's happening in the song, and then we saw it.
Right, but like you didn't know what was happening in the song, and you also didn't know why the song was happening until like a good 45 seconds into it.
What are you talking about? I know exactly what's going on.
Because you know Miss Saigon.
Right.
Some of us are less familiar. What
wasn't clear? So they say, so Leah Salonga comes out, Leah Salonga and John Guillaume, if I'm pronouncing that right, comes out and says, we're doing, so this is Miss Saigon. What's happening here is she's confronting the man she's betrothed to about who wants to kill her son, right?
Right.
And then we see her shoot the guy.
Right.
And then run off.
Right.
And then the chorus starts singing, "This is the hour" or whatever.
Right.
Is that the part that confused you with the chorus?
No, the part that confused me was, first of all, like, what setting are they? How do they know each other? He's clearly an officer and she's not. Is she like, I don't know, a prisoner? We don't like, and then at the very end, when her and her son are walking off, and she just like casually hands her son off to this guy with the ponytail, and it's like,
I didn't know who that guy was. That was weird.
Okay.
And to this day, I don't know who that guy was.
Great. I don't either. And that was confusing. And like we get like it became clear that they did that song so that even Noblezada could have like that moment, and it was great because she's great.
She killed it.
But I mean, there surely there was maybe a better way to go about that.
So actually, the last when it went on the Tony Award the first time, they performed "The American Dream," which has nothing to do with the show. Like that's like you know, Sit Down When You're Rocking the Boat has nothing to do with anything in Guys and Dolls, which
it's
one they always perform.
Yes.
But it has nothing to do with any of the show.
No, nothing.
So American Dream's the same way. American Dream, the engineer has this one big song that has nothing to do with anything. But it's the one where they like they drive a real car on the stage, and it's like the $1 billion number or whatever. And because the first time the big hype about the show was the engineer is so great, that's the song they performed. Since Eva was the only nominee, I guess they thought we'll just give her big number a shot. But I agree. I would have liked to have seen like even a duet between her and Chris or something.
Yeah.
Something
and also, I kind of feel like, and maybe just the song wasn't long enough, but I feel like they could have started the number with Eva just singing to her son, and like
I agree.
And like we didn't even need that whole first bit, you know?
That I completely agree with. I was confused. At first I thought they were gonna like only do that choral bit, and I'm like, that's such a weird choice to
That's
make.
such a weird choice.
And like, so later, maybe shortly later, we're gonna talk about how upset we are that they only did solos for so many performances. So in that sense, I appreciate them involving the rest of the cast. But in the very real sense, you're right. They felt like they didn't need to be there. But that being said, that was, I think, one of the better numbers of the night. Actually, I really, maybe not one of the better ones, but it was. I really liked listening to Eva sing.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
That girl is like 18.
She's like 21, but like that's not old.
Is she going? Oh, that's what she is. Yeah, but she got the audition. I just heard the story in the Facebook Live thing they did tell me that. She got the audition for Miss Saigon from the Jimmy Awards.
Right.
There was a casting. So Jimmy Awards, National High School Musical Theater Awards in New York. She was a finalist. You can read about it on my blog. On my blog, I said she was the best one, that she's going places. Go look up BroadwayDude.22378.blogspot.com. I post about the 2013 Jimmy Awards. I say that even though Pizzata is going places.
You did.
I did say that. But yeah, so she was during that performance. There was a casting director in the audience who came up to her afterwards and says, "We have photos from Miss Saigon." It was a big thing. So she's young and she killed it. And she did such a good job. I love seeing her.
So good.
Yeah.
Did she win the Olivier in London?
She did not. I thought she did briefly, but she did not.
That's a shame. She should have.
She should have. Well, I don't know who she was going up against.
That's true. But like, doesn't matter? No.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Well, she was very, very good. I'm so glad that she's doing this. You know, that she got this opportunity and that she's killing it on Broadway. That's super awesome.
So solos.
Solos, yeah, upset about the solos.
I'm so mad at Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember. So we had the conversation, like literally, like when they like sometime between nominations and this show, we talked about what if Dear Evan Hansen tries to do Waving Through a Window. So like, cause that's like the song of the show, but I'm like, there's no way they'll do that because it's a solo and that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And like.
And then when they announced it.
Like when like the first refrain started, I'm like, maybe it'll be a medley.
Yeah, because they announced everybody. They said, you know, welcome, you know, Ben Platt and Mike Feist and
and like Rachel Bay Jones. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna
But all they know is walk around the stage. They just let him sing it. I was upset.
And like, even as I was watching it, because like Waving Through a Window, it's a good song. But like, even as I was watching it, I'm like, this just feels wrong. It's like this song cannot fill this stage and this space. You know?
Yeah.
Like even.
Yeah. No.
I almost want to say like even David Hyde Pierce, I feel like filled the space more than that song did, but I don't know if I can go quite that far.
I agree with that. Like, so like it was a fine performance, and it was cool to see the lighting and the technology and the choreography a little bit. But I mean, for one, I'm gonna say it felt like a wasted opportunity. I definitely thought they should have done.
You Will Be Found.
You Will Be Found. But I would have been behind Disappear. I think that could have been beautiful.
Yeah.
I think. Heck, you could have done.
Anybody Have a Map would have been great.
Yeah, that one would have been solid too. Yeah.
Honestly,
like there were a lot of.
Even if you had done like Words Fail, I would have been less mad because like we haven't seen that one yet. You know.
I agree. I see why they can't. Like Words Fail is a spoiler number, so they can't actually.
It is a spoiler number, but that also like that's the song that got him the Tony.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree. But yeah, so like I don't know. I'm looking at the chat right now. Someone has asked, what about DH? Oh, that's David Hyde Pierce. I thought that was David Hansen. Okay, we'll get to that later. But yeah. So I understand why they chose this song because it's the song, but I think it was a bad choice. I think if people want to hear that song, they could have. It's been on all the talk shows. It's been, you know, in every trailer for this show. They released the song like 4 years ago before they made it to off Broadway. And like, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen something that involves everybody because so many people were nominated. You know, like Miss Saigon gets a bye because only Eva was nominated. So let's showcase Eva. But since you know, they had, was it 3 actor nominations, and you know, not sex, lighting, and everything. I don't know. They could have showcased more of the nominees, I feel like.
Yeah, they could have. And just like
because
more of the show, because like the show as a unit is what people were excited for. And like, yes, Ben Platt is like so tied to that.
Yeah.
But like other people are in it, you know? Like other people matter.
Yeah. Well, and to me, so I think that okay, so the point of a production number on the Tony Awards from the producer's perspective is to sell tickets.
Yes.
Right? The idea, because it's not, I didn't know this until just last year actually, it's not free to perform at the Tony Awards. You have to pay some kind of fee or whatever. Yeah, like it's thousands of dollars or whatever. Yep. So the producers won't do it if they don't think they can get something out of it. So like their point is make a big splash so people will watch it and come see their show. I get that. What I want a Tony performance to be shows me as much as possible. I want something that's indicative of the story and the theme of the show, which is why I talked about Groundhog Day performance. We'll get there in a little bit. I want something that shows the whole cast, and I want something that gives you an idea of what the story is. And to be perfectly frank, you could take Waving Through a Window out of Dear Evan Hansen, and the show would still work. Like,
yep.
That song is a great window into Evan's, like, where he's at, meant like into his character. But it has nothing to do with what the show's about.
And it's arguably the least importance. No, I can't. To Break in a Glove is the least important.
To Break in a Glove is no reason to have that song. But no, I think what you're saying, like, yeah, like, you literally, if it wasn't like they reprised it, and it's a beautiful song, I love the song.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it's in the show. It doesn't tell you what the story is about, it doesn't tell you all that much about the show, except for the headspace of the main character in the first 20 minutes. And it ends up being the most of the show, but still.
Yeah.
So that was my issue with the song.
Yep.
That was my favorite song on the show. Oh, I used that. That was my favorite song on the show. And it, again, Andy Carl was I think the only performer nominated, so it makes sense that they showcased him. But there are a lot of songs that could have done that. Yeah. But it didn't represent what the whole show was. Like, that was the finale song. That was the end.
That was the finale.
That show had, like, pretty close.
It's not a very good finale.
I mean, you've seen the movie. It ends at the party. It ends at the day.
No, it ends the next day when they wake up in bed together, and he's like, "Oh, sweet, it's February 3rd." Sorry, that might be spoiled.
So I think they sing a reprise of that, but this is like the last real song.
Okay, gotcha.
But
yeah,
what kills me is that show had a medley built into it, like the various days he wakes up or each like montages. That would have been perfect. It would have told you exactly what the show was about without being too spoilery, because everybody knows that that's what happens. and it would have involved like everybody he meets, and like it would have been so easy.
And like I think it would have been so much more interesting.
I agree.
I was not interested. And also, what was up with her shoes?
I did not pay attention to shoes. I can't tell you there.
They were like.
Where were they weird?
They were like boots, but the ratio of like fluff to boot was like 3-1. I don't know. Like that was all I could look at for their entire performance was like her shoes, and I'm like, this is a poorly designed shoe.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the thing, and like we mentioned, I don't know that I cared for. Okay, so let me say this. So another thing that I like for Tony performances to include is something we haven't seen before. I've mentioned that like, and so like Come From Away. Come From Away, I love their number choice, generally speaking. Except for the fact that they performed it a couple places before. Like that, I mean, the Sky are the only ones that people really get to see.
Right, which to their credit are really the only two songs you can take.
You can do I forget what the song's called. Like if you look it up, the one at the bar, the one where they all become Newfoundlanders.
That song is literally 1 minute and 30 seconds long.
What?
It is such a short song.
Isn't that a whole thing?
Heave Away?
Yeah.
It's such a short song.
Okay, so you do the one before you do Costume Party, which comes right before it and leads into it. Like that show is basically an hour and a half song. You just take different chunks of it.
I don't know. I fully stand by what Come From Away did. I don't necessarily think that they should have looked for more, because like no one knows the show anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
So, like it doesn't really matter going for obscurity.
That's fair. I would have liked obscurity, and because they haven't performed in the parade yet. If they get to perform in the parade, I'd like to see something different.
If they perform in the parade, they'll probably do a bar song.
But no, I thought they had one of the songs performances of the night. So like they were the first, I believe. And it was at high energy. It told you what the show was about. It used everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I liked something I never really thought about before I saw. I mean, like I said, I saw this live performance like a couple weeks ago when they performed on The View. But I really liked seeing them as real people, you know? Like I listened to the soundtrack so much, it didn't really register with me to like the Corey Cox and Laura Osnes and Derek Klena, like the Broadway bodies, that these are very average looking people doing this.
So real, such real people.
Like, because even like I've been like, oh yeah, Jen Colella and Chad Kimball and all these like Broadway superstars, whatever. But watching it and seeing these like, I don't want to say too many mean things, but just very non-exceptionally looking people, Yeah,
just unremarkable, which is remarkable to see on a stage, And I loved when they had during the opening when they had the cast of Come From Away come out like alternating with like the showgirls and like the sparkly costumes, and I'm like, there's so much. Like I would watch a chorus of these people so much more than I would watch a chorus of people in the flashy tights.
So I'm just going to jump over to the live chat. We've had someone ask, aren't the shows actually running during the Tonys? Maybe that's why they couldn't do big production numbers. I mean, I thought Monday is the typical day off, or the show's usually on stage during the Tonys. Most shows do close during the Tonys. Mandated, and I know that they do have a matinee. I know that they do usually, not always. I think they said Warpaint canceled theirs, but most of them make you do a matinee performance. So they are tired, and they do have not a lot of time to ship everything over.
And it wouldn't shock me if like a lot of people have put understudies in for Tony night or for Tony matinee.
I believe it.
Yeah.
But no, as far as I know, they do, and like I do get the point that they're tired and you hate to do a big thing like that. But I don't know. I think, I mean, people do it, obviously. You know, you look at shows that get these massive sets. Like that's what I'm wondering is how do you get the huge sets into this theater? How do you get them? Like the She Loves Me set from last year, or the
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how they do that actually. I guess they use the elevator.
Maybe they have like a second set.
They can't though. Like I was thinking that too. They might just build replicas. Maybe if they have like a tour planned or whatever.
Yeah, or like a collapsible set. Like the set and then like the travel sized set. You put it in a little like planograms pouch, and they take it to Radio City.
Travel size for your convenience.
Travel size for your convenience.
But so that's let's see. So we talked about the performances of Hello Dolly. Is there anything else to say about Hello Dolly? Oh yes, is that I like, in a sense, I really do like that they did a song we never heard before. My biggest complaint about Hello Dolly is that we've seen it all before. So doing an original song was nice. That I never heard that song before.
I mean, no one has.
That's the only good thing about the performance, though, because
it showcased nothing.
It, again, had nothing to do with the show.
Nope.
But like there were plenty of good non-Bette Midler songs they could have done. They could have done Elegant. They could have done.
Yeah, I guess she's in dancing.
Yeah, she's in that. Yeah, she's in that too. But yeah, like they could,
honestly,
because Gavin Creel.
They could have done most of Hello Dolly. She doesn't come in until like pretty close to the end.
Yeah, but you can't sing Hello Dolly and then have Dolly not show up.
How funny would that have been, though? Just like what a slap in the face to her not wanting to be on the Tonys. And then no, and then it's Michael Crawford in the sparkly dress.
Michael Crawford comes out.
Oh gosh, they should have done that.
They should have done. But yeah, like I don't know. I think it's likely that it was like a last minute thing. Well, you know, I don't know when she announced she wasn't going to do anything. But because maybe if they do, we have someone who says that they often build smaller, simpler versions of the sets to bring to the Tonys and other events. Thank you, kind viewer. So it's possible that they like didn't have time to put together something for like build the Tony size set or whatever. But I think they could have done something. I think they could have given us some of the because that quartet, that you know, Gavin Creel and Taylor Trench and
Melanie K. Moore.
And
Kate Baldwin.
Who's nominated? Kate Baldwin, yeah. That's what I want to see in the show. That's what I'm really curious about. So I would have loved to see Elegant would have been a good choice. Or It Only Takes a Moment, or any of those.
Yeah. And also, do you know what I thought was funny? And what I think might be a first on the Tony Awards that I've seen?
Yeah.
Is that no one used the little like front arch stage. Like Great Comet used it a little bit, but like with all the solos we had, no one used that space.
When they like rehearse their production numbers, they don't have that. So you have to add stuff to get there.
I mean, like, yeah. But almost always when there's a solo, that's where they do it. Like, that's what Idina Menzel did. That's what Sydney Lucas did. That's what Legally Blonde did that one time they performed for whatever reason. Like, I don't know. Like, that's how the Tony Awards make solos interesting. And, like, David Hyde Pierce already had, like, that much stage because he was in front of a curtain. So, like, why not just put him that extra 10 feet, you know?
I kept expecting the curtain to open. I kept thinking, maybe this is a medley. Maybe the curtain's going to open and we're going to see something else. But it never happened. At that point,
I just given up hope. I'm like, they're not going to do a medley.
Yeah. But yeah, so that one was just a... Okay, so let me look at my list. We talked about Hello Dolly. Talked about Miss Saigon. Talked about Groundhog Day, Evan Hansen, Come From Away. So Great Comet was stellar.
So good. A very good snapshot of what the show is. And they showcased the people who were nominated for the most part very well. Also showcased a lot of the design elements that it was nominated for, which Hello Dolly sure as heck didn't.
Did not, that's right. Yeah, so like literally, so when we were watching, we were watching in a different state, so there's a little bit of the two local networks weren't completely in sync. So I was watching the Tony Awards like 5 seconds earlier than live here. And so there's a couple times I would accidentally, because we were live texting through it all, and I would accidentally tell something too early. So because of that, I was trying to like delay. So after the Great Comet finished their performance, I picked up my phone to text her performance. And what do I see on my phone? But literally, now that's what I call a Tony performance. Like, they were one of the last ones of the night, but they did everything right. They did such a good job that they gave you. I think medleys are a great idea for Tony performances, to give you the range that you really want, to give people the whole all side of it. That it's fun and exciting and entertaining, but it's also deep. And Josh Groban has a beautiful voice, and oh my gosh. And yeah, we got to see the design. We got to see them playing the instruments, which I think is a super cool part of the show. And another cool thing, all those people in the audience is there. The Great Comet set out someone just asked, who are all those people sitting on the risers? To me, they look like regular people. They were dressed like normal people. So a Great Comet sent out a release about a week and a half ago saying, we need about 50 normal people for our Tony production number. If you're interested, send pictures or send headshots and let us know if you're available. They said specifically we're looking for like edgy looking people. So tattoos and oddly dyed hair and stuff are a good, or a plus. Yes, that's what that was. That was 50 random people from the street who wanted to be a part of the Tony Awards.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
I think it is cool. And I think it's a big part of what Great Comet's trying to do. They're trying to make it more immersive. They're trying to make it more about the audience and everything. Yeah, so I thought it was they did a good job capturing the scope of the show and kind of capturing the Great Comet is overwhelming. I've never seen the show, but listening to the soundtrack and watching they just a lot.
It's so much.
Was captured well. I think they showed that there's just a lot happening, kind of on every level.
I mean, like they aren't hiding anything, which I think is so cool. Like that's great.
Yeah, because like I feel like if you had just seen Josh Groban's solo bit, which again that was a song that they wrote for, I think him.
Probably.
Definitely, it's like just an extra or something like that that wasn't in the original soundtrack. So it was written either for the ART production or for this one. I don't know. But yeah, so like, but if you had just seen that solo and then you've gone to see the show, I would have felt very cheated. I would have felt like this is not what I signed up for.
This is not Josh Groban singing me happy music.
Right. So I think it was good that they did show both sides, and they showed the craziness and the Josh Groban-ness, which is the two parts of the show.
Yeah.
So that's Great Comet. If you're good, just go through all of them here. So we're left with falsettos and bandstand work band. What are you gonna talk about?
I was real pleased with falsettos.
Yeah.
I think they picked a good song to do. I think they did it well. I guess Christian Borle and Andrew Rannells weren't like specifically showcased, but like they had a moment, right? And I think it's cool that like they didn't just pick a Marvin and Wizard song, like they very easily could have. I guess Stephanie J. Block was also nominated, and so was Brandon Uranowitz. Yeah, no, they probably.
No, you have to be right. So I think they picked the perfect song. I mean, the song is entitled, I think, "A Day in Falsetto Land." So
yeah, it's the Act 2 opener. But yeah.
So in that, it gives you, it does a great job of telling you of what's going on, and giving you the feel of the show. Falsettos is also a little bit of an overwhelming show. The songs don't always follow the standard melody. Like there's a lot of surprises in the music, and there's a lot of singing on top of each other. And they did a good job of showcasing that. And yeah, the strength of the show is the cast. It's got 5 nominations, and 4 of them were for the cast.
Yep.
So they wanted to use everybody. And yeah, I feel like it gave us a solid window into each of the characters. For whatever reason, I didn't like their performance, and I can't put my finger on why. I think it's just randomly the end sounded too chaotic. I think I've been listening to the soundtrack too much, where everything is so crisp, and like when they're all singing together, you can hear the individual parts. So like that's what I wanted to hear, and when I got to they're all singing at once,
but
I'm like, what is this?
Like a live performance, yeah. And also the show's been closed for like what, 6 months. So and like
so yeah,
that's also a thing. Just like seeing them up there, I'm like, I bet they're so happy to be doing this again.
Yeah. So that's we mentioned earlier that the point of the Tony Awards is to sell tickets, right? Like that's why producers
right, which is why limited engagements like never perform.
Right. I think what'll save them is they have their live stream coming up soon.
Yeah, their PBS broadcast.
Oh, PBS, yeah. So everybody go watch that because it'll be really good. But I'm glad that stuff like that gave them like a reason to perform, because I thought it was really solid.
Yeah.
A lot of good performances there.
You know, okay. Or paint.
Still don't care.
Why?
I kind of wanted to care.
It's so funny because like they're up there and they're singing and like they're so into it.
I guess so.
And just like it doesn't, like, there's no way to spin it.
No. So the design was actually kind of nice. I hadn't really appreciated the set. Like what they did with color was kind of cool. Like
and the costumes were beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, the performances were just they lacked luster. But there wasn't much there.
No, there wasn't. And like I definitely didn't feel like from that performance Patti LuPone and Christina Eversole were like, oh, give them a Tony. In the same way, like when Eva finished her performance, I was like, give her a Tony. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't imagine Warpaint's gonna last too long. Like I kind of feel like they've been riding the Patti LuPone wave the whole time, and that if they didn't have Patti LuPone, maybe the show wouldn't exist. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I will say this. I like the title.
Okay.
But that's about it for the show. And like I was thinking, like maybe if it was like a play, and I'm like, I still wouldn't care about it if it was a play. Like the title is the only thing that I like about the show. Not even like, you know?
Yeah. I'd be more okay with it if it was a play, or if it was like a comedy. I don't know. But like that's what kind of about even the number they performed. They were taking themselves so seriously. And
seriously.
It felt like it didn't feel honest, I guess.
Yeah, and also, I'm not a director. I know nothing about directing, but like, I noticed how like they were so intentional about like never looking at each other until like right at the end, and I'm like, okay, like that's a choice, whatever. But then like they looked at each other and they looked at the audience, and I'm like, no, you just lost all the power you got.
The whole blog was a bit cliche. Yeah. So Warpaint, it's gotta close soon. Bandstand I liked. I had heard that Bandstand was gonna perform, but they didn't go till the very end, so I got word that like the thing that I read was wrong.
Yeah, same. I'm also a bit surprised that they waited so long.
Yeah, me too. I think
I would have felt like
their performance,
like Dear Evan Hansen, would have been like one of the last ones.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I think they could have used that to break up some of the solos, maybe, or to break up some of the nominated performances. Or even someone mentioned that they thought it would have been nice if Bandstand had performed before they gave the choreography award, so that people could like be more excited about it.
Yeah. That also would have made sense.
But no, I thought that was like that. I'd seen that performance too. They did it on a Playboy video or something. But I thought it was swell. I thought the dancing is just incredible.
So good.
I loved all that. Loved Corey Cott. He did such a good job.
Laura
And the whole
Osnes
cast.
tripped, which made me so happy. Because, like...
Laura Osnes did what? She tripped?
Yeah. Did you not see it? No, yeah, she, like...
I do. I remember being like, is that a dance move? I don't know what's going on.
Nah,
Yeah.
that was not supposed to happen. But, like, I mean, she covered for it well, and, like, it was fine. But just, I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, so, like, definitely see why I won Best Choreography. I think that is one that I think tickets. I think there are some people who've been like, wow, do you see that back then? We should go see that show. Like,
I think, yeah, I think probably so.
I think, at least because, like, the rest of the shows that won stuff, their winning stuff is what's going to sell them tickets. But I think Bandstand, it might be people who...
Like, they just needed to be seen.
Right. And I definitely hope that their attendance gets a boost because they're solid.
For sure.
We have had some people in the audience a little bit upset that that more shows didn't perform. And I agree. I'd love to see on that stage. Like I'd love to have seen Anastasia or Bronx Tale or Chocolate Factory or Emily or in Transit and stuff's already closed. But and to be honest, I don't know if they get invited or if producers give bids and whoever pays the most. I don't know how that.
I mean, I would imagine that like nominated shows get an automatic slot if they can pay for it, and then like if they turn them down, other ones can just like jump in. I don't know, but
I don't know how that works.
I do feel like they televised fewer awards than they have previously.
Yeah.
Because like design awards sometimes happen, but like best choreography, I feel like is usually televised. And like,
I feel like sure, yeah.
And so if that one is that's the one that like comes to mind. But I feel like other ones were also probably cut out, maybe because there were so many performances, which sucks. Like, the performances weren't that great.
They weren't that good.
They weren't.
Yeah. So there were a couple of other like miscellaneous things. The comments have mentioned the Rockettes number, which I agree was the most boring part of the show. And that's a show that included a Warpaint production number. Like, I could not care about the Rockettes. Like, I even like Leslie Odom Jr. and Cynthia Erivo are like good, whatever.
Yeah, they didn't need to be there.
They didn't need to be there, and there was that, you know, when Sally Field came out and gave that big like
American
commercial for the American Theater Wing.
That didn't.
Like, I remember I watched like it was nice. I thought it was. I got some information I didn't know what the American Theater Wing. Like, I had its moments, and I thought that might have been a lead into Bandstand. I thought that's what that was.
Same. It's like, veterans and everything. Yeah, no, like, no.
Yeah, I thought that's where it was going. But yeah, it was like I watched that and thought to myself, they could have announced a design award in this time.
Yep.
I did like the in memoriam. I'm glad they put that back in. They cut that, if not last year, the year before, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it wasn't like my favorite in memoriam that like has ever happened ever, but I think it's good that they're bringing it back. And this was kind of a rough year for that.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I remember catching myself going like, oh, several times. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they had that.
Yeah.
The other like the other things that don't need to be there that were some of like the host bits or whatever, which I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can't fault him too much for that. Like I said, Kevin Spacey's impressions and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was that one bit. I guess it was for the Educator Award where Josh Gad came out and just kind of
Carnegie
Mellon for a little bit.
And
I don't
also,
know that needed to be there.
Like he was like, I'm gonna be in Forum, and then I don't know. That was like a joke that just like didn't land. Like that just wasn't a fun.
Yeah. And like, well, and because I think that the idea behind that was because I know CMU was a big part of like funding the I'm sorry, the educator award, the best like teacher thing. So I think he did announce it, or at least talk about it during that time.
He did, yeah.
They like panned over to the lady, and like that's nice, but yeah, I didn't feel like it needed airtime.
Nah.
So yeah, that was a little bit unnecessary. So yeah, so I agree that there were other bits that fine, but I would have liked to have seen not there to give more time for the things that mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So airing some of the design awards or seeing a few more performances from the actual Broadway shows.
I would like to talk about the one fellow's speech from Oslo. I forget his name.
JT Rogers. Wait, so Michael Aronov or when the show won best play?
I think when the show won best show. The fellow who was talking about the golden age of playwriting.
Yes. Yeah, that's when it won best play. I like that too.
That was a nice speech.
Nice speech, yeah. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, and it talked about how. There was an article in the New York Times. I might have already shared it. I think how we're actually living in a really exciting time for plays, and it's great that people are excited about musicals, but there are some really good plays being made, and it should be paid attention to because
for sure.
There's some really nice stuff out. Yeah, I liked that speech. I liked who was it? Gavin Creel's speech. I really liked his was one. I know he was like the first one.
I also
But he had one of my favorite speeches of the night. Because he was so genuinely excited, and that's all. Like I always get a kick out of that when they're just so happy. But yeah, because he's the guy who said like, if any of you out there have money, and I know a lot of the people in this room do, start a scholarship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I don't know, like I forget that he's never won a Tony Award. I think of him as such a Broadway staple.
Yeah.
But I forget that
like he is a Broadway staple. He's Gavin Creel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know, he had this like innocence and youthful joviality about him.
Which is what got him Cornelius.
It is. Yeah. And he's not who I would have picked to win, but when I saw him, I'm like, you know what? Good for this guy.
Yeah.
He had a really good speech. I made notes. Pasek and Paul gave a good speech too. They were like in sync.
Which makes sense.
And I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so excited that they won. Like there's been a little bit of debate as to whether or not they deserve best score. I think they did, and I think I would have been happy for those two guys because they have done a whole bunch
of really good work and really like unnoticed work.
Well, yeah, like I think they've contributed to musical theater so much in a way that hasn't really been recognized.
Yeah.
They're I think among the pioneers of the new musical theater, and they did Smash and I guess La La Land, and like they are bringing attention to musical theater to young people specifically a whole bunch. They've been so key in that whole movement, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I'm glad they got recognized.
Yeah. Also, La La Land was not mentioned once,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it not?
No, never. Which I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me, and I'm like, oh, you're right.
Yeah. And Hamilton barely was. I expected Hamilton to be more talked about, or even
which I mean, like I'm not like upset about either.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I was a bit surprised.
Yeah.
So I made a list of speeches to talk about. Ben Platt, I did like Ben Platt's speech as well. He had a good one. I was happy for him to win, and he's another one that like, so I was afraid that he was gonna be like cocky about it, but he was just adorable.
And that's something that we've been saying about Ben Platt for a long time. It's specifically when he was in the Secret Garden concert, where like,
yep, I remember that.
I don't know that he's like my favorite performer, but he's just so dang excited to be here, and like he's never the kind of guy to like think he's entitled.
Yeah, well, and I think, to be honest, that was one of my favorite parts about him in this role, is that he wasn't the most polished, that he's not like, doesn't have the most beautiful voice or whatever, but it so works for Evan, you know, that he is this kind of awkward guy.
Yeah.
I didn't make notes. For those of you who are interested in design stuff, go online and look up specifically Mimi Lean's award speech for scenic design and Natasha Pierre.
I bet that was a good.
She had a really nice. Yeah, so she had a nice one about. I'm gonna botch it, but it was along the lines of what we did in the show, what my set was about, and what the whole piece was about. People together and encouraging seeing the beauty of interactions or whatever, something along that lines. And that's, you know, why they did the whole audience there and interacting all around, and about how that's an important thing we needed this time. I don't know, she said it really nice. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And the other one is Gareth Fry and Pete Malkin won. They got a special Tony Award for their sound design in The Encounter.
I was happy the sound designers got their special Tony.
Were you saying something?
I'm happy that the sound designers got their Tony back.
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, I've done a little bit of reading into The Encounter. It's basically a sound design symposium. It's a one-man show about this guy's like adventure in some Amazonian rainforest type deal, but you come in and they give you headphones, and the whole like thing of the show is experiencing sound in weird ways, is sounds coming from weird places, or they put on noise canceling headphones so you really can't hear the state. Like you can't hear very many live sounds at all. It's all coming through these. So it's all engineered, and so it's still live theater, but it's all the sound is not modulated, but like intentional, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's
so like these two guys have spent 5 years working on what is literally just like the biggest sound design thesis project ever. So they definitely deserved the award. There was a really nice speech that they gave talking about the importance of sound design and why they're glad that it's coming back, because it is going to be a category next year.
Yeah.
And so if you're into design stuff, go check out Gareth and Pete's speech, and Mimi Lean's for scenic design as well. So let's see. We've talked about performances. We've talked about, so we talked about performance, we talked about speeches. Let's talk about, I guess, the other thing, which is who won the awards, things that we're happy about, things we're not happy about.
Let's talk about that.
We mentioned a few that we're excited about. There's a few upsets that I think we have opinions on that maybe should be shared.
I know Evan Hansen winning orchestrations caused a fair bit of discord.
I'm upset about that one. I think that was uncalled for several reasons. So we've mentioned that they do have nice orchestrations. I know
they do.
You have pointed out to me, you like there. I don't remember where it was, but you're like, they did this really cool thing where they put like a refrain from this song into that song, and it has all the symbolism and stuff.
Yeah, I know it does.
So like, And I think that goes into orchestrations. I think that's part of it. Is
yeah, I don't think that's a score thing at all.
Yeah. So in that sense, they really do have solid orchestrations. They really do. But there is so much more of that in Great Comet. Like, go listen to Dave Malloy talk about his score from Great Comet. Every note is like a reference to something.
Yeah.
And it uses more interesting instruments, and it makes a more interesting sound. And I think we can all agree Great Comet deserved orchestration. So and most of us can agree, except the Tony voters, I guess. Everybody else can agree.
Which is like the theme that we found. I feel like every year we're like, man, we got to get on that Tony committee and like figure out what the heck is going on, because they're just wrong about like a standing 40%. This year was more like 80%.
I mean, I actually thought they did okay this year for the most part. There was a few like blatant ones. Most of them I thought that they were kind of okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, but orchestrations was one that was not okay. We have someone on the YouTube channel upset about leading actress still.
Yes. I'm upset about it.
We talked about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, this season wasn't necessarily about the leading actresses. I would have liked to have seen Laura Osnes get nominated, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Anastasia. I still haven't heard very much from Emily. I don't know if
I have not heard great things about the girl playing Anastasia. So
yeah,
that one didn't shock me.
Yeah. But yeah, like I agree. Watching Patti LuPone and Christine Ebersole, I'm like, I don't know what they needed this.
Nah.
Eva looked really good. Danae looked really good. That is. Oh, another interesting point. Going back to why the Tony voters are so wrong. I read a thing the other day, or a friend sent it to me, about there's a new voting policy. That's like,
I did see that, yes.
Like for designers specifically, the people in the field get to vote. So like scenic designers vote for scenic design, and choreographers vote for choreography and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think it's probably good. I think it probably.
I mean, I think I realize that votes can't be weighted, but like I don't know, maybe like have them vote anyway just to get a scope, because like.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, like I worry about narrowing the pool and have, if there's only
6 sound designers.
30. Right. Yeah. 6 sound designers, then that gives them too much power.
Yeah.
But also, it makes me wonder who votes for things like actors. Like, are there a lot of acting people on the Tony voting? Like, I always assumed it was mostly producers.
Yeah, and
so
like,
who do they vote for?
Especially in such like a tight community, narrowing the pool to people you're actively competing against has got to
that feels kind of
in some way.
Yeah.
Which like I guess
I don't
know if it's everyone, but still.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, but I do wonder, because there's a few, I think specifically scenic design was one. I'm so happy that Play That Goes Wrong won, but I didn't think that they were going to, because they only nominated for the one thing.
Yeah.
And we said something similar about Bandstand, that like we love the Bandstand, but they weren't nominated for very much. Maybe they won't win. And lots of things like that. We definitely thought that individual shows, and we can talk about this now. We expected individual shows to sweep more than they did, because historically that is a trend that we see, that one show wins a whole bunch of stuff and takes a lot with them, and that really didn't happen this year. Someone asked me before the show, who do you want to see win? And I told them, literally, I'd be happy if no one show got more than 6 awards. That's what I said. I want it to be spread out. I don't want any show to get more than 6 awards. tallied it up. Dear Evan Hansen won 6 awards, and they had the most. So to me, that's a good Tony Awards. That they recognize that Oslo won Best Play and only one other award for, was it lighting? No, they didn't get lighting. What was the other award? Michael Aronoff. Yeah, they only got 2, and that Jitney got Best Revival and nothing else. Like the idea, President Laughter, Kevin Kline's nominated, nothing else. So like, weren't nominated for much, we're still
recognized.
Yeah, and I thought that was super cool. I liked that it was so spread out. That there was so, a Doll's House. Yeah, Doll's House only got 1 award. Bandstand only got 1. Jitney got 1. President Laughter got 1.
Great Comment didn't.
Hey, that was wrong. Got 1.
Great Comment didn't get a lot of it. What, 4, 2?
Got 2. Got Scenic and Lighting, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. So Evan Hansen got 6. Hello Dolly got 4. The next most was 2 from a couple of shows, and a whole bunch got 1. So I, for one, really loved how spread out it was, and I wonder if this new voting thing has something to do with that. I wonder if it's because there wasn't a sweeping mentality. It wasn't oh, I'm a producer and I loved everything about, Groundhog Day, so I'm gonna vote them for everything.
Right.
Instead, it is people with informed opinions about individual fields giving respect to the individual fields. That might be what they did. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that seems legit.
But that's why I say I'm fairly happy with the overall results, is because I like how spread out they were. I thought no one show took too many that they didn't deserve.
Yeah, I mean
that's over.
It was a good award season, and I think because like last year had a lot of good performances, but like we were kind of a bit bummed that like Hamilton took everything.
Yeah.
And this year I think it's kind of flipped. And you said something about this night of that, like the awards themselves are better than they have been, but the performances are significantly worse.
I agree.
So like it's a balancing act, and hopefully next year they'll even out and we'll have good performances and good awards.
Yeah. Yeah. So every year I vote in a Kim Davenport runs a blog called The Producer's Perspective, and every year he gives a post-Tony survey of how you think the Tonys were. It's not too late to vote. If you want to vote for it, go to producersperspective.com. And he asks you what's your favorite part of the Tony Awards, and I always say the musical performances, because that's always the best part of the Tony Awards. But this year I said finding out who won, because that was more enjoyable to me than seeing performances that I had either seen before or were solos.
Or were lackluster.
So that was, they did a good job giving the award for the most part, but they still got a few wrong. We mentioned that orchestration was wrong. The other one that got me was best performance by a featured actress in a musical.
Rachel Bay Jones. Against it. Like she's fine, and she does do a good job in this. Arguably a better job in this than like in Pippin or whatever.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But when you got Stephanie J. Block and Jen Colella, both giving stunning and both like Jen Colella and Stephanie J. Block, I think, were so much more important to their respective shows than Rachel Bay Jones was, because like they were both in like more ensemble pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
So again, the grain of salt I take with all of Dear Evan Hansen is I think more so than any other musical this season, it's hard to know about if it's score. I think it's possible she has a lot to do in the book or something. But definitely just from listening to the songs, I feel like her character doesn't do much. Like she sings a beautiful ballad at the end of the show.
Well, I mean, like,
but aside from that,
I'm sure she does a lot, but kind of the thing with Evan Hansen is like everyone's character is very like deeply explored. but they're all pretty stereotypical characters. Like, there's nothing especially remarkable about a single mom raising a troubled teenager, right? Like, that's whereas a mom whose husband came out as gay and then she marries her psychiatrist and like while raising a child with her husband and his gay lover, like, or
a pilot. The first female pilot,
right, like they have
who crashes in an unknown town and has to make, plus all the other people didn't plays in that show. She plays at least 2 or 3 other.
Right, so like there's kind of a charting new territory, laying new ground. I think that they both did so well that Rachel Bay Jones just didn't have the opportunity for, right? So like
it wasn't in the role.
I don't think she did do it in this role.
Well, and also, I might get some flack for this. I've never seen the show. I remember listening to the soundtrack and being like, I don't think I like Rachel Bay Jones in this role. Like out of the whole out of the whole soundtrack, I like Ben Platt, I like Will Rowland, I like Michael Park. I remember thinking to myself, I wish they got a different actress to play the mom. And she's grown on me. I've come to respect her choices more the more I listen to it. But I skipped that song when I listened to the soundtrack. That one and To Break in a Glove. I'm like, nope, I don't care. But yeah, so I was live texting a friend of mine while watching the show, and she was watching with her friends. And that one, and I was upset. And I was like, oh, I'm so mad. And she said she had a friend there. We're gonna call him John. And she's like, well, John's actually pretty excited about it. And I don't remember my exact words, but something along the lines of, John is wrong. John, don't trust John. John's an idiot. You know what? Is John a good influence on you? I like, who's the John guy I think he is? I never knew a bit far. And so I apologized to him through her, and she said, oh, it's okay. He said, he acknowledged that he's mostly just a fan of the show and less about the specifics. And I'm like, that's
how it happens.
And I've done it too. I do with plays a lot. I'm like, I do with direction a lot. My vote for best director almost always goes to
best play
because I can't disconnect those, and it's hard to, but I think it's so important to learn how to. I'm sure it'd be easier if you see the shows.
I mean, it always is, but yeah.
So that orchestrations and featured actors in the musical were the only ones that I was like really upset about. There's a few that I was surprisingly excited about. I was really excited that Christopher Ashley won Best Direction of the Musical for Come From Away.
I was too, and he also had a really good speech.
He did have a good speech. He did, and like, it's possible Great Comet deserved it. It really is.
But Come From Away was not deserving. And that was one.
Right.
That was one we talked a lot about. Like the blocking was so impressive, and like Great Comet was too, but like for a different reason,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very glad it got that kind of recognition.
Yeah. And that was its only award, and I'm glad that Come From Away won something. So overall I'm happy that happened.
Yeah.
Also, I hadn't thought about it till just now. It is kind of cool. Really, all 3 of the big shows, Come From Away and Evan Hansen and Great Comet, have had such a journey. Have been.
For sure.
Like the same company has been working on these shows for like 4 or 5 years, and I guess Groundhog Day less. So Groundhog Day came from London, so I guess in that sense it has.
But like I don't know.
But most of them have such a family around them. Yeah,
like Groundhog Day, like there's really no pretending that it's not a commercial ploy.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty obvious. No one was like, I feel it in my heart and soul that Groundhog Day needs to be a musical. Like that doesn't happen.
That being said, it is a good show. I think they put a lot of heart to the show. I feel like Christmas Story the musical. Christmas Story is like a goofy movie, and they added heart to the musical and made it more like emotionally fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I think they did something similar to Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day has more feels than the movie did. things. But I agree that it's still like a movie remake. It's still
yeah.
Yeah. Any other awards you want to talk about necessarily?
I mean, I don't think so. I think that was most of the.
Yeah. So we'll Scott, hour 20. We'll probably finish up pretty soon here. If anybody has any questions or whatever, feel free to post them. Someone did have a good comment. That's something we've been saying for a long time. That it'd be really nice if there was a best script of a play category.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen that for a long time.
Because they are different. Like in musical, you have best score, best book, and best show. But for play, it's really just best play. You don't get a best script of a play.
Right. And like they're Pulitzers, but that's not really the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, someone's asking about Hello Dolly as winning best survival. We can talk about that.
Opinions on my end are negative. Because a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Not enough was done with it. And I don't think
again
and to be fair, none of the revivals this year did like a lot different, but I feel like Hello Dolly is just not a story that we needed to hear right now in the same way that like Falsettos was, or even to a lesser but still some extent Miss Saigon was. You know?
Yeah, I do. And I'll agree this wasn't like a super strong season for revivals. Like none of them blew me away necessarily. Falsettos was the best, I'd say objectively. I do, whenever a show wins so much and I expect it to win nothing, I think to myself, what am I missing? You mentioned they haven't posted a lot of videos. Like it's hard to know much about what Hello Dolly's doing. It doesn't look like much, but maybe if you go see it, it's better. I don't know. Like it's weird to me that the one that wins like the second most is as bad as we think it is. But maybe it is. I don't know. I would have liked to see Falsettos win, certainly. But I'm not surprised that Hello Dolly won. I can't comment. I want to point out, because we mentioned it, some of the presenters were kind of cool. Specifically, really enjoyed Nick Kroll and John Mulaney.
Nick Kroll and John Mulaney. I want them to host the Tonys next year.
I would be so behind that.
That was so good.
Excellent host.
That was so good.
Because that was.
They were, and like all their jokes, they were like slightly barbed, but like it was okay. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job. On that note, go to Netflix. I think just this week, Oh Hello on Broadway was put on Netflix. Their two-man Broadway show this year, which wasn't nominated for anything. Shame. But you can go watch it in all its glory on Netflix right now. If you're in America, at least. I don't know about other countries' Netflixes. I know we have such an international audience. But no, they were good. I mean, there's a couple of good presenters. I thought they were good. I like seeing Leah Salonga and John Birones because he just looked so excited to be there.
That was so cute. Oh god.
Cause she was so cool and she's been doing this for a long time, all this stuff, and he was just so happy.
You're so like giddy.
Yeah, and I appreciated that. Yeah, I thought all those were good presenters. But yeah, so all in all, scale of 1 to 10, how was this Tony Awards?
7?
7?
I mean,
find 7.
I mean, like I tend to shoot low. I don't know if I've ever seen like a 10 Tony Awards. Agreed.
But yeah, this one, if we say 5 is an average Tony Award, which is hard to do. Like
it was above average.
I think it probably was. Better or worse than last year's, or the last couple of years? Yeah.
I think I probably enjoyed it more than last year's. Just because last year's, like, nothing was surprising. And in this one, like, there were bad surprises, but there were surprises. And, like, there were some good surprises.
Yeah.
And I think that counts for, like, a lot.
No, I agree. So, like last year, I like last year's opening number better. I liked maybe most of the performances better. But I thought, I liked the way the awards went this season. And I did like the in memoriam and plays thing that they did. Most of Kevin Spacey. I think Kevin Spacey might have been a better host than James Corden. James Corden, I didn't care for all that much.
I like Kevin Spacey, but also, like, my expectations for James Corden were so high, and he just was, like, a bit under. And my expectations for Kevin Spacey were so low, and he just like, shot above.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So, yeah, Kevin Spacey did a good job. Yeah, and so I guess it was so weird because, like I said, what's usually my favorite parts of the show, the performances and the opening number and everything, did kind of fall flat. But in a sense, that made room for the kind of sort, like, to actually, I don't know. I enjoyed this Tony Awards very differently than I've enjoyed the past couple, and that change is kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Another thing I wrote down, and this is so random. Where was Nathan Lane?
I don't know. Not there.
Because they made a joke in the opening number about him not being there. And then when he got nominated, they just showed his picture.
Right.
So he apparently actually wasn't at the Tony Awards. He had to be that you missed the Tony Awards or you're nominated.
Or you're nominated for Best Actor. I have no idea. I hope, like, he's okay, or, like, his family's okay.
Yeah, I'll feel bad if something's wrong. Yeah, I mean, he might be in London doing Angels in America. I don't know. I don't know if that started already. But yeah, that's something I wrote on my notes. Is where is Nathan Lane? Advice for the Tony Awards for future years.
Like, watching or just, like?
But like if we get to tell the producers of the Tony Awards, what?
Care about non-musicals and non-actors, because that I think was the best part of this Tonys. So just go from there.
Yeah. Let the plays do more, and let the designers do more.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, we have one more question, and this might be where we end it. Someone asks, what shows are you excited about next Tony season?
Frozen the musical.
Shut up.
No.
I'm not sure when that's going to be here, actually.
That's Cursed Child is hitting in January, right?
Yeah, so Cursed Child's coming.
I mean, like, I'm excited for that.
No, I agree, but I think, like, I'm excited for the show. I'm not excited for its Tony Awards because it's going to be the Hamilton of plays. Like, nothing else is going to win.
It's going to take so much stuff,
and it's going to be boring.
Yeah.
But like it, in the best, like, it's so good that like it's going to be a good show, but it's going to make, in the same way that Hamilton was a good show, but it's going to make for boring Tony Awards.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for the Once on This Island revival.
That's going to be great.
It's opening in December, I think. So I'm hoping that it's, like, still exciting by the time Tony Awards season runs around. But it's going to be so good. I'm excited about that one. We also have the musical, The Escape to Margaritaville.
Oh my gosh! Also, SpongeBob is coming to Broadway.
SpongeBob is coming to Broadway. That's right.
I'm probably equally excited for both of those, which is at, like, a -6.
I'm more excited for SpongeBob than Jimmy Buffett.
Probably, because at least it's original music.
Yeah, well, they have, like, good people attached to it. Like, Tom Kitsch doing music, Nick Blameyer and Gavin Lee were both in the cast, at least when they did it last time. They got David Zinn is designing it, and his designs actually look really good. But no, neither of them are super exciting. But Once on This Island will be really good. But people try to predict at the beginning of the season as much as possible, but you really can't tell. Like, so much stuff pops up around the end, and you know, is that our favorites tends to be the underdogs, the ones that no one's ever heard of, the ones that come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I have strong memories of 2 years ago reading an article about how this was the year that, and it was about how it was like in October or whatever, they wrote an article about how it was going to come down to Dr. Zhivago and what was the other one? Something else that got nominated. What?
The Elephant Man year?
I don't remember. But like they literally mentioned 2 musicals that got like literally nothing. It was hilarious. But yeah, so
anything can happen.
Yeah, I think we are going to be most excited about what we don't know to be excited about yet.
Well put.
Thank you. I host a vlog as well.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It has 5 whole viewers now. Our one viewer has apparently made 5 Google accounts just so they can boost our ego.
Thanks, friend. Thanks, pal.
Which is so kind of them. Yeah.
So that's the 71st Tony Awards.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have more questions, feel free to leave comments or talk to us on Facebook or Twitter.
Or you probably have our number, if I had to guess.
That's true. That's true. Most of the people watching this probably could contact us other ways if they wanted to. Yes, be sure to share your thoughts if you haven't already. I think it's fun for for award shows and these things to be community events. I think it's to share in the community, because watching them, it definitely looks like they have a strong sense of community there. So I think it's fun to kind of recreate that.
I think so.
All right. Well, we here to Get on the Couch. No telling when we'll make our next video. It tends to be a post-Tony slump, so we will see.
Probably mid to late January is probably when you can expect us.
That's standard. But if you have something you want to see us do, let us know.
Yes, we'll try and make it a thing.
Now that we know we can make intercontinental videos, we might be able to do more things.
Yeah.
So transcontinental, I suppose.
Transcontinental. All right. Well, it's been a real slice, you guys. Stay couchy.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Stay couchy.